Hi there, welcome to Long Distance Review. And if you've never watched any of my videos before, basically this is a rock and music based review channel. And this week I'm focusing on the new release from UK based rock band Puppy. And it's their debut album called The Goat. Now this album came out a couple of weeks ago, and I did want to actually get this review up a bit earlier, but I've been very busy and ever so slightly lazy about it all. But also I've been listening to this album pretty solidly now for 2 weeks, and I can honestly say I think I've got to grips with it a bit better than I would have if I'd only put a review out after a couple of days. So here we go then. This is Puppy and The Goat. Now Puppy were formed back in 2015, and they're a three-piece band from London, and they consist of vocalist Jock Norton, who does guitar and vocals, Will Michael on bass, and Billy Howard on drums. Now, they first released their EP. They've released 2 EPs before this being their debut album. So their first EP actually came out in 2015. It was a self-titled EP and contained the song Do It Again, which was quite a big hit for them. Not a big hit, but it's still their well-known song off that EP and got them a bit more notoriety. They followed this up with their EP called Volume 2, which came out in 2016 and contains the huge song Entombed and the fan favourite Arabella. Both these songs and Do It Again are live favourites of the band. I've seen the band live, and they're excellent live, by the way. Now, to categorise Puppy, it's a very difficult thing to do, and many people have decided they're sort of uncategorisable. They're a rock band at the end of the day, but they have a mix of irresistible big riffs and hooks, and these swirling melodies, all with a sort of gothic overtone. They've had a big sort of media backing before this album's dropped. A lot of media has got behind them. Not in the big sense, because at the end of the day, rock isn't the big thing at the moment, but they've had Radio 1 airplay, and a lot of, let's say, journalists have got behind them a bit. So there was a lot of anticipation coming for this album, really. I mean, I've been waiting since 2016 for them to release an album. So when The Goat was announced, a lot of anticipation for it, and from myself as well, definitely. Now with the album, it opens with the first song called Black Hole, which was the first single taken from the album. Now Black Hole's got this huge chunky riff that comes pouring in, and it has this harmonious sort of spacey chorus, almost reminiscent of like a classic rock band from the 1970s. It's catchy, it's melodic, but it's also heavy as hell, and that's a really tough act to achieve in metal. And the second song, Vengeance, picks up the pace a little bit, but continues with the big riff, big melody formula that they've got going on. Now these songs sound huge. The production sounds big, the riffs sound big, the grooving heavy bass that undertones every song. But this remains very, very accessible in a way that other metal bands have failed to achieve. Puppy seem to extract different elements of metal. I mean, if you look at, like, the riffs could be taken from, like, the britrock era, like the Wild Hearts, but also they get riffs that have taken from, like, the big four of thrash. Check out the riff on Poor Me. It's a real big Metallica riff, crunching riff. The vocals are reminiscent of, like, the classic rock sound at times. And the tone of the album's got this whole Black Sabbath tone, maybe like Ghost nowadays. But the melodies are these sort of sunshine melodies that Weezer could have written, and to meld all them together makes them a very truly original band. To categorise them is impossible. They're an alt-rock band at the end of the day. But personally, let's call them a fuzzed-up, blackened pop metal. That's never going to be a category, but that's basically what I think they are. Each song has these big, chunky, urgent, vibrant riffs that come in, but they have these big choruses to die for. The guitar work's stunning throughout this album. People say the solos are dead. Check out the solo on Nightwalker, which is an excellent solo. And the dual guitar work they have on And So I Burn. This song almost sounds sort of shrouded in mystery and intrigue. It has that kind of aura about the album. But the Puppy signature vocal harmonies make them sound almost sunshine pop at times. And to meld these two ends of the rock spectrum together is a really, really clever thing to do, and it works so well. It's 12 songs long, this album, but it has no drop-off in my eyes. Even when the pace drops a bit on the aforementioned Nightwalker, it's this toe-tapping serenade of a song, and that's one of my favourites on the album. They then pick up the pace on the punkier numbers when Will takes over vocal duties on the punky sort of I Feel Evil song. This album never lets up. Lesser bands would exhaust this formula that they found, but it always sounds interesting what Puppy do. right up to the closer, which is a song called Demons, which has this big riff in it that the Wild Hearts would be massively jealous of. It's an incredibly strong debut from a really daring and original band. I mean, the one problem they might have in their career is they're so hard to categorize that who would you put them on a bill with? Who could they support? Who could they tour with? And the answer really is anyone. I can't understand if you like guitar music, how you wouldn't get something out of this album. There are going to be big releases this year. I mean, you only need to look to the near future to see that Tool are dropping an album, Slipknot are dropping an album, Rammstein are dropping an album this year. I mean, Tool, that's up for debate. But if this hype's true, these three bands are going to be dropping big albums this year. But at the moment, I'm going to see it hard to beat this album. This is a stunning album. And the hype is true around them. Get behind this band. We need new music, as I've said many, many times before. And this is a really, really good band. They're excellent live. If you want to check them out live, they'd be brilliant. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back very soon with another review. And I'm trying to cut these down a little bit. So hopefully this is a little bit shorter. I know in the modern era, our attention spans are minute. So hopefully you made it through this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.